right? The theme is one of the most important conversations of our time, because in today's world, success is not measured only in profits, but in how business impacts people, communities, and the planet. And striking the balance is no longer optional. It is the future of sustainable leadership. And to dive into this vital discussion, we have with us an extraordinary group of leaders and visionaries from across the globe. Please help me welcome our esteemed panelists with a huge round of applause. We have got with us Dr. Hilal Al-Helal, the strategic marketing consultant and founder of Zawiya Community. With over 17,000 hours of coaching delivered across the GCC, Dr. Hilal is redefining freelancing as a path to dignity and sustainability, blending marketing strategy with psychology and storytelling to empower thousands of professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Dr. Hilal Al-Helal. Everyone. Welcome, Dr. Hilal. It's truly an honor to have you join us here today. Well, our next panelist, Monique Schmitz, the founder of Clinique Consultancy, is a certified Proctor Gallagher consultant who helps CEOs, entrepreneurs, and artists break through limiting patterns and reach their next level. Based across Australia, Dubai, and the Netherlands, Monique has guided ambitious individuals worldwide to align vision with real results. Please help me welcome, with a huge round of applause, Monique Schmitz, all the way from Netherlands. Everyone. Welcome, Ms. Monique. It's truly an honor to have you join us on this very special occasion. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, joining this esteemed panel, we have also got with us Mannaert, the transformation coach, serial entrepreneur, and founder of Era of You. Ellen's journey spans sustainable fashion, hospitality, and tourism enterprises across Europe and Caribbean. She is also a global voice for diversity and inclusion, empowering underrepresented founders and inspiring entrepreneurs at institutions like Cambridge and Westminster. Please help me welcome, with a huge round of applause, Mannaert. Thank you so very much. Well, also joining this esteemed panel, finally we have got with us Dr. Nicola Middleton, all the way from South Africa, the founder and president of God Brands. With her vision for an upgraded humanity 2.0, Dr. Middleton is a global voice for conscious leadership. Through her organizations, she champions messages of unity, higher purpose, and the power of the individual to create positive change worldwide. With a huge round of applause, please help me welcome Dr. Nicola Middleton. Everyone, come on, guys. Thank you so very much, Nicola. It's really an honor to have you here join with us today. Well, we have got such an inspiring and diverse panel here with us. It's time to hear it from them. Ladies, gentlemen, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is it on? Can you all hear me? Yes, it is. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and thank you so much for that beautiful keynote. On behalf of all of us, welcome again. There was a line in the keynote that really struck my attention, and it says there's always room for growth. And I think all four of us sitting here can vouch for that, especially when it comes to the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is about ethical business practices, balancing profit and purpose. And my original plan was to have all of you introduce yourself, but I think after that beautiful introduction, we do not need to do that again. So what I would like to start with is to get an understanding of what each of us understands that purpose really is, So let's just start at this side. Would you like to take it first? What would purpose be for you? Sorry, just to check, do I need to use this? Yes, I think so. Is it on? We check yours is here. Maybe this one? Yeah, this one.
Thank you very much. So yes, we're talking about purpose. To my mind, and also certainly in my organizations, purpose is the raison d'etre, the very reason why the organization comes into existence. I believe that organizations are part of what the universe wants on this earth. So there is a seed in it that is part of, in the way that I like to talk about it, bringing heaven to earth. If there is a founder who has a purpose, a passion, enough to commit their life, their dedication, resource, bring other people into, it's that seed, it's that one thing that keeps that whole organization going and growing. It's like a tree, like an acorn growing into an oak tree. So for me, purpose is that very starting point without which there really isn't life in the organization.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. Alan, would you like to go?
Yes, I will. Good morning, everybody. So for me, purpose is, it starts, of course, with the leader, but I also feel like purpose goes hands in hands with changing the world that we live in. So as a leader, often we forget that purpose is something only for you, as you are the one starting the company or the business and attracting more people to you. But purpose goes further than just having the vision, idea, and passion. Purpose, I believe, it goes into what are you, the sparkle that you are bringing out of your employees, the organization, the community. For me, purpose is also serving. And yeah, that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's an important thing to have as a leader.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Al-Helal.
Hello. Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you. To me, and from my perspective, as I can see it, purpose is the impact I will leave to the end client. It is not a written words or not a filling words in the website or anywhere. It is something tangible and everybody can sense it. Yes, I can give a warranty, I can give a guarantee, but there is always hidden things, and that thing cause an impact, either in a positive way or in a negative way. The question is always asked, why they need that thing, a service or a product? It comes the after, why you or why me? Then I can find a purpose why I'm doing this, because there is an impact that I'm going to leave there. Following by that, is there anybody here from insurance? Thankfully. Insurance always promise us like we will be saved, we will be sleeping good, we will be doing everything smoothly. But when things happen, they will say, look, there is tiny written there in font number 2 or number 1, I don't know, or font number and, like this tiny. And that's not transparency. It is written, but it needs a microscope to read. So this is the purpose I'm going to leave, either in a negative way or a positive way. Sorry if I'm taking too long.
No, not at all. We've got time
you.
to talk. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I really believe purpose, when I listen very carefully, and I hope you all resonate with it, I think purpose initially goes to the bigger why. What is it that we believe and what gets us motivated, right? Times get tough sometimes, and we need that bigger purpose to understand where the motivation is coming from, because that's what's going to fire us up at the moment that things might get a little bit of roughness into it. I would like to take that and give each single one of you a few minutes to express a practical example that you either experienced in your own business or when working with clients, where you could see that purpose and profit were either working together very beautifully or were like clashing. Would you please go first, Dr. Nicola?
Okay. It's a story I thought I would just share. It was actually quite a while ago, one of my sort of early leadership lessons, but it has stayed with me. or let's say ethics and, you know, the bottom line profit kind of story. So we were, myself, my business partner I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've done various companies, but this was 20 years ago or something. And it was a medical pharmaceutical company, and we had, we're starting out, we were doing chronic medical distribution. It was in South Africa, and we couldn't pay for the electricity, and the electricity went down. We managed to pay for the electricity, but it took some time for them to put the power back on, and we needed our computers, and we needed to obviously run the business and, distribute medicine to patients. And my business partner, and he was the CEO at the time. I was marketing director, I think. And he was on the call to the electricity supplier, and he saw fit to get really angry and be very sort of self-righteous about, we've paid the electricity, you need to switch it on. And it was a very sort of angry, but for me it was actually normal business culture at that time, but we could discuss, maybe that was in our company, I don't know. But sort of that self-righteousness of like, we have an important job to do, we need our electricity, you should switch it on. And sort of, I overheard the conversation, and so it wasn't my behavior, but it was a lesson that I learned. It sounded like, what we're doing is important, and granted it is, we're serving patients and their health needs, but it felt like it's the business, the bottom line, how we run things, and this has more power than people who are having to switch on electricity. And it definitely felt to me like these are not my values in business. This is not ethics. It is taking sort of the power of business and pushing it over treating people right, respecting that we're all here doing our job, whether I'm serving, the medical the needs of people, or somebody else is serving our business with electricity. And it was kind of a watershed moment for me being exposed to that, because these are not my values. This is not the way I want to do business. I cannot make profits more important than how I treat people. So it really did, and I can't see my job as big and important and feel like your job is less than mine. I just can't operate in a world like that. So I think it's very much shaped my leadership. And I have to trust that my business will make the profits it's meant to make when it makes those profits, but I don't believe in compromising ethics, because I think ethics are another way of saying we're in harmony with the universe, and I think that should be all of our unspoken goal. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Beautiful. Ties in beautifully with the keynote speak as well. Yes, thank you for that.
Well, thank you. So I will take you back on my journey as an entrepreneur. So when I started, my background is in textile. And when I was finishing my university, I needed to create this whole new line. So I searched through the whole world where I could find the perfect fabrics to create this line. So I came across to this beautiful company in Italy who produced the most beautiful fabrics for all the high-end brands that we know nowadays, that runs all the fashion shows as well. So they invited me there to source some fabrics that I could use for my fashion brand. And when I was there, they showed me the warehouse. And actually, when I saw the warehouse with all the fabrics, big containers with all the fabrics laying there, I asked them, what are you actually doing with all the leftovers? Because when you are producing fabrics, it's very important that there are no mistakes. They don't tolerate anything. But I saw those warehouses full of fabrics laying there. And the owner of the company told me, well, they are beautiful fabrics, high-end produced, but all the fabrics has a small mistake, so we cannot sell them to our customers. So what we do with it, we actually destroy them, we burn them. And my jaw just, my mouth just went open like, how can you destroy all these fabrics? So I went back home, I bought the fabrics there, I did my fashion line, it was very successful, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. So I called back to the factory, said, I want to visit you again, and I want to actually buy all of those stocks. As you are going to burn them anyway, or destroy them anyway, let me take them. I will find a warehouse in the Netherlands and put them there and see what I can do with it, because I feel like I can help a lot of people with it. To make a long story short, I became one of Europe's largest textile network with selling second-hand fabrics, because I couldn't Thank you. Because I couldn't understand, and I didn't want to contribute in destroying something what actually could serve so many people. And eventually it led me also to
Yes. Yeah.
bringing those fabrics to Africa and in Europe. So that is a little bit about sustainability and ethical, and that is something that led me actually to my whole entrepreneurial journey. Also starting my fashion brand, I wanted to do something different. Going to the producers, they will always tell me, well, you have to compete with the Sarahs, with all the big brands that are there. And I always told them, no, I don't want to compete. I want to do something different, something authentic to me. And what I am missing as a consumer, that is what I want to bring back. And with that mind, I also started to sourcing my employees, my managers, and the leaders around me to create this fashion brand, Mannaert. And what happened actually, that I was also the first one like creating small amount of clothing instead of creating big amounts of clothing and having 4 seasonal new collections. I just had 1 collection. And also with that, just believing in myself, but also having the vision and the courage to create a team around me and support me to execute that vision, I ended on the Ellen Show in the United States with my brands that was worn by celebrities, also again worldwide. So I think purpose and ethic goes hand in hand. It's not the one or the other. As a leader, you need to combine them. And most importantly, you need to create a team that has the same values to make sure that you can execute that in the right way.
Awesome example. Let's give her a little bit of applause for that, right? It deserves more. Thank you. Thank you. It is such a good example of bringing the two together, of having a very clear vision on where you want to go and not losing the value that's there already. When you bring them together, it can actually multiply. Ah, I love that example. Thank you so much. All right, turning to this side.
Okay. Ask me again.
Question, give me an example.
Okay.
Give them an example.
I have many case studies.
Pick one.
One, just one. Okay. Can you hear me? I've just been told that I cannot, some people cannot hear me. That's very well. 3 years ago, a fast food chain in Kuwait, they started facing this Generation Z and late millennia about health-wise, about environmental-wise. And they start boycotting them or buying from them. So what we do, and I've been hired as coaching for them. So, okay, we came to decide we'll reduce the size. The Ministry of Health said adults, male, consume 2,200 calories, female, 1,100. On the cash register, we'll put the money amount and the calories, which I will say, so far accumulated by the order. Mm-hmm. And there is 6 touch points where subconsciously they will say a male, 2,200, a female, 1,900. And as a starter in 2 shops, they went viral. Everybody buying, okay, there is a money, and there is a calorie count, they feel it's okay. I'll order more sides. But as we said, the transparency. The thing is, they are not mentioning it is 2,200 per day, not per meal.
Yes.
And what kind of man or a woman that's supposed to take 2,200? An adult, a senior, a teenager, a kid? It's like for a serving, when they with the biscuits, the serving is 4 pieces. Is it for a toddler, a kid, or a larger portion people? We don't know. And here we come to the point. Shall we confirm that? Shall we advise that? They said no. Now, here now we come to an ethical issue. We are harming them by letting them having more ultra-processed food. Yes. They said, okay, we'll advise them to have a fizzy drink diet. But this is, okay, morally they will feel fine, but they are taking more. And you are consuming more. Yes, you're profiting more. And here we come to the point, shall we continue or not to continue? They did continue. I stepped back.
That is such a good example of, first of all, raising the awareness in what it is happening, and then actually getting to the stage where you have to decide, are we going to do this or not? Next step would have been, how can we attach that more to the purpose of what we're doing here? Right?
Yes.
So thank you for sharing this example.
Thank you.
Thank you. An example that I would like to share with you and bring your attention to, I'm not going to tell the whole story. As Dutch people, maybe some of you out there as well, there's a beautiful story about a reporter in the Netherlands that was actually investigating the supply chain in the cacao industry, which turned out to a company which is called Tony Chocolonely. I think you must have heard of it. The reporter was investigating and found out that obviously there was a lot of misrepresentation in that supply chain, and he made it his mission to figure out, can we actually pay a fair price to the farmers? And that took quite a bit of investigating. He met a lot of middlemen that were not on board with that mission at all. And he said, in order for me to prove the point that that can be done, I'm going to start my own company. And he created a brand called Tony Chocolonely. So we started selling it, and in the beginning it was like a really good hype in the Netherlands. Everybody was all over the chocolate, and the famous salted caramel actually comes from his kitchen, so to speak. Fast forward a few years, they found out that yes, they were successful in paying a fairer price to the farmers, but in order to really have a voice in the supply chain and really have that purchasing power, they needed to expand. And what they did felt very intuitive to a lot of people, because they said, we're going to focus on sales. Man, we're going to kick the sales off like crazy. So they took it internationally, and they skyrocketed. And that, in the end, led to not only Tony Chocolonely paying a fairer price in that supply chain to the farmers, cutting out a lot of middlemen, but also big supermarket chains to actually adopt it, just expanding the impact that they were making. And I think it's such a beautiful example of how the purpose and the why of one person can actually be combined with making great profit and then bringing that back to the people who actually do the work. So if you haven't looked into it, have a look, and if you haven't tried it, try it, because you're going to love it. Another thing that I would like to address is, and please give me your perspective on this, Dr. Nicola, what would be the number one mistake people make when it comes combining the two?
Combining
purpose with profit. Yeah.
I think that's a good question. Number one mistake to combine those. We do need to combine them. I mean, one of the things I love that has served me really well in life is a phrase I call dynamic life equilibrium, or DLE for short. And what that is that when I discovered how life works, we all come to this earth and then we have to figure out what's the deal of living. And people teach us, but ultimately you're driving your own car, you're responsible for your own life. So this concept, dynamic life equilibrium, helped me. In my 20s, I discovered it and came up, I'm sure the universe inspired me with this phrase, but it's about, if you imagine like a justice scale and you have those two sides where you put a weight on and it kind of moves a bit like that, and you've got to try and get it into balance. I discovered life is like that, or life is like walking on a tightrope or riding a bicycle. You can't overbalance on the left or on the right, but both sides are important, and they have to be in a dynamic, which is that movement, equilibrium at all times. And I would say that would be my, what I would like to share here about how to do this purpose and profit, is you need to do both, and you need to find the sweet spot, which is that dynamic life equilibrium. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Nicola, the same?
Yeah. So I always draw my answers from my own experience. So a few years ago, we moved to the Caribbean after selling our company. We wanted to do something different. And when we entered there, the Caribbean, beautiful, we loved it so much, and we felt, well, we wanted to take a year out of rest, like a sabbatical, just to rest from everything and then go back to Europe. But I felt like the entrepreneurship blood is in us, in my husband as well. So we came up with an idea to go into the tourism, actually with no experiences at all. We thought, well, you know, we will figure things out as we go. So we started a company, we bought a few buildings, and we went into the supply chain of excursions. So, but what happened there is, as we were going, we saw that this journey was very hard because we came into this new country with our Western mentality. And, you know, we didn't expect that the culture was very different, and the way that we did business and the way that we lead in Europe wouldn't work in the Caribbean. But it took us a few years to come, you know, behind that, I don't call it a failure, to become behind that lesson of us. And what happened in those times that we got so frustrated that everything that we did, that every road that we set out, it didn't work. Because we couldn't communicate with the culture, we didn't understand it. We had this beautiful business idea. Money was not a problem, but there was something missing. And what was missing actually is that we forgot the purpose. You know, so it's a different story from me, my textile branch, where I had the background in going to a new business, just thinking that I could change it because I had this great idea. And because I forgot the purpose and the vision along the way, it didn't work out. And we ended up selling everything. And then a few years later, we came back to the Caribbean and everything. And what happened actually is that we found out that if we want to make it work in a different country, we need to change, we need to bend, we need to be ethical with the country and not the other way around. So we started a different business model, and we went online and tried to find partners online. And then we add there also by, there's a lot of seaweed in the Caribbean, so everything that we do, every client that we got, we will give back $1 back to the community of cleaning the beaches and everything. So what happened? The purpose came back. And as soon as the person and the vision came back, the profit became as well. And now we are doing everything online with also giving back to the community. And we've been around for 7 years now and doing very well. So we just needed to have this shift of mindset, but also remembering ourselves that if you have a purpose, it also takes time. And sometimes what happens is that we get this idea, we want to go into business, and we just expect that it will succeed. But when you have the purpose and the vision, you also have the time to see the bigger picture.
Beautiful. Would you agree that once you got your own clear vision of what your purpose is and why you're in it, that it kind of is contagious for the people around you, for your suppliers, for your customers, for environment?
Definitely, because when I was in it, losing my purpose, I couldn't communicate with my team. I have 50 people working for us with a totally different cultural background. But when the purpose came back and we start giving back and communicating in a different way, and I start pouring into my team with a great example, our keynote speaker also gave just here on the stage, like, what do you need from us? What can you teach us? So we turn it around, and instead of giving them the road and the map and the blueprint what to do, they gave us the blueprint, and they changed everything for our company.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Turning this side, Dr.
I will tell you.
Tell us.
I've seen a lot of small businesses doing a very good profit unethically. A. B. The purpose of marketing, the optimum purpose, is to become referable by word of mouth. And that needs a good reputation. A good reputation needs some authenticity to believe yourself and to be as expected by others. Now, all laws, all written things, all things we teach for the rational people. But the majority are irrational people. We have to take care about that thing, and we have to measure that thing in our minds, and not just be filling our websites, our books, our printings with words. We have to implement it by ourselves before implementing to others. That we will become having good reputation, and that by that we will be having good impact, and we will be referable. Otherwise, it will be catastrophic with one single mistake when we get discovered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for adding that to the conversation, because the company I actually was just talking about, the Tony Chocoloni, was, in the beginning, it was all about this. Everybody wanted to know what this reporter was doing. It had been aired on TV in a documentary, and everybody was buzzing about it. So, yeah.
So, the devil always within details.
Sorry.
The devil hiding between details. Can you hear me, guys? I know that I have a low pitch. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's comfortable. So this is very important thing to keep the details seen. Keep the details discovered by irrational people, not the rational ones. Otherwise, nobody will take loan from the bank.
There you go. I really believe one can't go without the other. You can be really purposeful, and you can have the most beautiful mission on the planet. If in the end the money is not going to be there, then it's just going to be an unpaid hobby, right? So, and there's balance in everything, and I really believe that when you look at nowadays society, you even see whole generations don't even want to work for companies anymore because they don't have a purpose, or they're just all about the money. So it goes into way more areas of companies to have that purpose. But people want to identify with something, and I'm actually very thrilled to see that that development, because the times that we all had to agree on, do we need to think differently, I think are way behind us. We all know we got to do better, and we all know we got to come from a better conviction and a better belief. We all know what's happening to the planet and to people on the planet. So for us to take that not as a nice to have, but as really the thing that drives us forward and pushes us forward, I think it's absolutely key in nowadays society.
Greed is good, by all essence.
Listen, in nowadays society, money is the currency. We just got to find a way to connect the two properly. So in order to keep our eyes on the time as well, we did agree to give the audience a few minutes to ask any questions if there are. So if any of you has any questions, can we get a microphone? There's a question here.
Thank you. Riyad Najm from Saudi Arabia. I might have a little issue with the title of this session. It's balancing of profit and purpose. Now, in commercial operations, profit is a purpose, and this is understandable. So usually we want to balance is the ethics with the profit. Which one we prefer, and not the purpose only. The profit is also a purpose in any commercial operation, and this is understandable. So maybe what we want to say is balance between profit and ethics. I hope I cross this idea across my mind to the esteemed balance. Yeah. I want to ask the panels if they can reflect on the practice of some of the brands, the well-established brands, that they destroy the unsold merchandise at the end of the season. Is that ethical? And the reason they do that, because they don't want to bring down the price and the value of their products, so they just destroy it at the end of the season, instead of reducing the price or donating it or doing anything with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question, and thank you for bringing that up. I hear what you say. Obviously, the purpose of a company is to earn money. Without that, there's no company. I think this might be a question that you would be willing to answer? Yes, especially because you're
Yeah,
aspiring.
thank you. I think it's a beautiful question, and I do agree with the title as well, that ethical is a very important part of it. And of course, as business owner, we all want to make profit, so we cannot confuse that. I think that's definitely the case in there with big companies overproducing, and then they don't want to work with a competition or work with the price, so they have to destroy it to keep the prices up. But what I do see that companies now are changing. My experience is with textiles, so fashion brands, and what I did, and that was also one of the reasons that I didn't want to bring out 4 collections a year, what the Modes brand do, but just one collection a year and make it versatile. So collection and pieces that you can wear to different occasions. Even when you are going on a holiday or it's wintertime, whatever, you can wear it on the same occasion, so you don't have to produce big quantities, what eventually will lead into destroying them. But also, if you look at the global part of it and the milieu factor of it is very bad as well. But companies are changing because they need to, because the new generation, they don't accept this anymore. The new generation are willing to pay more for companies that have ethics, that they are sustainable and really contributing to the environment. So I think what Monique is saying as well is not that you need to change, you know, it's a must. If you don't change and if you don't go, I don't feel like as a company, as a global company, you can exist anymore, because the new generation, they are totally different. And I see it in our consumers as well, and the questions that they ask. And we bring them actually also into our company with the questions. And so we attract them actually to create also a certain part of our business model, because they are the future, they are the consumers, they are the buyers. And those 3 values are very important for them. So where before the companies didn't have any knowledge and they were overproducing and destroying this, I do see a lot of companies changing and bringing that back. And also, don't forget AI, what will also, you know, reduce that part as well.
I think to close it up, I'm going to give the word to Dr. Nicola.
Do you want me to close it? I just wanted to comment on this
Yes,
question.
please,
Okay.
please.
I just wanted to say I really do love how, you know, I do believe every generation we're standing on the shoulders of the generations that have come before us, and we have to accept that we are evolving and growing. So things that organizations did before, certain things didn't get attended to correctly. Then there's pressure to change, which is what I hear you talking about. And I do love that the younger generation maybe there is less pressure for we have to make money, we have to pay the bills, and there's more, we could say, luxury to say, no, I will not support this organization, or I'm happy to pay more. I see that as evolution. There's more abundance coming into the human story. And so I just applaud the younger generations for standing up for those values, and that is really the catalyst for a lot of the change, because if I'm not going to support your organization, you either must change or you're going to go extinct like the dinosaurs. So that's an excellent thing. But the other thing that I wanted to also say is that if in an organization your values are, for example, high-end products with a high price mark, there are things you could do, for example, sales or something where you can justify reducing your price or pushing greater quantity into the marketplace with that lower price, but still staying a high-end brand, whether it's Prada or Gucci or whatever. One of the things I found, just a quick last story, because our time is up, is just a simple thing in the school system. I've been a parent for the last however many years. But, you know, you buy uniform, your child grows, you buy more uniform, and you just realize you have all these clothes because they outgrow them, pretty quickly. And for me, it became very important to value that I can't just buy the new uniforms and then they just sit there or I throw them away. And I got quite involved in how can we recycle uniforms. And it's sort of become part of the sort of supply chain. And I realized there, just in the simple situation at home, is that we can't just be at the exciting, sexy front end with our values where it's new and it's fresh and it's lovely and it's wonderful and it feels great. And then when it is, you know, okay, well, now it's kind of like rubbish in my world. It's not important to where my energy is going. I'm going to forget about it, and it just becomes sort of in the cupboard and eventually I throw it away, that our values have to stretch from the start to the very end. And we've got to really see as individuals our responsibility being from the sexy, exciting front end to the less exciting, I've moved this through my own life right to the end, and I can truly hand over responsibility and know that I've taken responsibility for the entire whatever spectrum that I as an individual am responsible for on the planet. And that would also be my closing comment. Thank you.
Great addition, great addition. Thank you both, and thank you for asking the question. I think we could fill a whole day just talking about that one thing. But for now, this is where I'm going to thank everybody. Thank you, Dr. Al-Helal. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Dr. Nicola. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference.